Good afternoon. When we learn new things, we often have to have somebody there telling us how to do it. Oftentimes that is a teacher at school. Maybe it's a specific kind of math problem that we just don't get. And we raise our hand and the teacher comes by and we say, can you help us? Can you explain this to us? And the teacher probably will go through, here's how the book says it, here's maybe another way that you could do it, here's another angle in which you could approach it. You want to get to the right answer, but maybe there's a number of different ways to actually get to that right answer. In the same way, you might have to learn things around the house, and your mom or your dad are the ones that showed you how to do those things. But when they showed you, they made it clear that you could do it this way, but there were other ways to do it. There's not just one right way, oftentimes, to do something. And so as you get older, you have to develop your own style. You have to figure it out for yourself and make it your own. When the disciples heard Jesus praying, when they heard that John's disciples, John the Baptist's disciples, were learning to pray from John, they wanted to know from Jesus, how do we do this? And Jesus said this, Luke chapter 11, verse 1. On another occasion, Jesus was praying in a certain place. When he finished, one of his disciples said to him, Lord, teach us to pray, just as John also taught his disciples. So we can imagine that John had one way of teaching his disciples what to do, what to say in prayer. And the disciple that heard Jesus heard maybe a different way and wanted to know, Jesus, what is the way to pray? What Jesus gave him and what Jesus gave to his church is called the Lord's Prayer. But it's not the only way to pray. Even the Lord's Prayer is a way of looking at prayer that says, what can we do? What can we say? What points are important for us to hit? There's a lot of thanking God there. There's a lot of praise to God for what he's done for us in Jesus. There's a lot of your will be done in prayer. And there's just a little bit of asking to balance out the prayers between asking and thanking and praising and speaking of God's will. Those are the things that we can keep in mind. And Jesus taught us that. He taught his own disciples that. To say there's not just one prayer to say, not one right way to do it, but there's lots of ways. Open your heart to speak to God. You've been invited because of what Jesus has done. So praise him, thank him, remember Jesus, ask, and say your will be done. Until we see each other again, the Lord's blessings on your day.